Zodiac signs most likely to cheat. Why are some signs able to remain faithful for years, while others suddenly destroy even strong unions? It is not coincident that is at work here, but character and hidden mechanisms of behavior. Today I will analyze the signs that most often cross this line and explain the signs that indicate this before problems arise. Almost everyone ignores one of these signals. Write your sign in the comments. If you appreciate accurate, unvarnished analysis, subscribe. Let's start with the first sign. Capricorn. Capricorns are rarely mentioned in the context of infidelity, too reserved, too rational, too collected. But it is this restraint that sometimes creates the most dangerous scenario. Representatives of this sign do not rush into random relationships. They do not seek thrills for the sake of the game. Capricorns generally do not like to risk what they have already built. Their life resembles a complex structure: work, reputation, plans, people who are close to them. Each element has its own function, and as long as the system works, Capricorns remain loyal, but at some point, a crack appears. It is almost imperceptible, a lack of respect, a devaluation of their efforts, a feeling that their partner has stopped seeing the scale of their inner work. Capricorn remains silent for a long time. He does not argue. He does not make a scene. He does not explain himself a second time. He simply begins to look around. This is not an impulse. It is analysis. I have noticed one detail more than once. Capricorn does not betray when he falls in love, but when they come to a cold conclusion. If there is no more development in the relationship, they look for another option. Capricorns evaluate new people the same way they evaluate business projects. First, they observe, then they check. They see if there is respect, if there is intellectual equality, whether there is potential. Only after that do they allow themselves to take a step, and this is where the most interesting part begins. Their betrayal almost never looks like chaos. It looks like a decision. Capricorns do not destroy their old life right away. They build a new structure in parallel, quietly, carefully, without unnecessary movements. The person next to them may not notice anything for a long time, because on the outside, Capricorns behave the same. They work, they plan, they solve everyday issues. But inside, another process is already underway. A new perspective appears in their head, a new union, a new balance, a new life scenario. And when this scenario becomes strong enough, Capricorn simply takes a step, without drama, without loud words. I am convinced of one thing: when Capricorn cheats, it is almost always a sign that something in the foundation of the relationship was destroyed much earlier. He is not looking for adventure. They seek stability. And if they suddenly find it with another person, the old rules cease to apply. Capricorns do not return to a system that no longer works. They simply move forward, calmly, as if they had known for a long time that they would have to make this choice someday. Gemini. At first, no one will suspect anything. A representative of this sign will continue to behave as if everything is in its place for a long time. Conversations, jokes, lightness in words, but over time one detail will change. Their gaze will become a little distant. Gemini will not break off relationships abruptly. That's not their style. They will start to look at the world around them differently. These people are born with a rare need for novelty. The same conversations will quickly begin to tire them. Repetitive evenings will force them to remain silent longer than before. I noticed a pattern a long time ago. When Gemini stop asking questions, a dangerous pause appears in the relationship. Because it is curiosity that keeps them together. As soon as it fades, another mechanism will start walking inside. quiet, almost imperceptible. They will start listening to other people more, noticing new characters, catching intonations, laughter, glances. It will not be like hunting, more like a game of the mind. Gemini will always seek dialogue in which there is movement, where thoughts change quickly, where there is a slight unpredictability. If a person who gives this feeling suddenly appears nearby, Gemini will take a step closer, first in conversations, then in longer meetings, and that's when the line between the two becomes very thin. Because for Gemini, betrayal rarely starts with passion, it starts with conversation. One meeting, a second, and suddenly the new person will begin to understand their thoughts faster than the one who has been around for many years. At this point, the decision will already be almost made. I am convinced of one thing. Gemini will not betray out of malice. They will do it when they feel that life has become too predictable. They need movement. And if they see a new direction, they will go there without further explanation, quietly, as if it had always been part of their path. Taurus. Calmness will mislead everyone for a long time. A representative of this sign will seem too stable to suspect anything dangerous. Habits will remain unchanged. The schedule will too. Taurus will rarely risk what they have built over the years. Their life will always be based on a sense of support, home, comfort, people nearby. Everything must work smoothly, but there will be one limit, after which this sign will begin to change, slowly, almost imperceptibly. When a Taurus representative feels that they are no longer appreciated, silence will begin to accumulate inside. They will not explain. They will not argue. They will simply begin to distance themselves. I had noticed one thing many times. Taurus will endure for a long time what other signs cannot withstand for even a week. But when their patience runs out, their decision will be final. At that moment, a new need will arise, to feel desired, needed, important. This is where the other side of this sign will begin to reveal itself. Taurus is very sensitive to a person's physical presence, to touch, to looks, to those little things that most people don't notice. If someone suddenly appears nearby who looks at him with respect, the situation will begin to change. At first, it will be short conversations, glances longer than necessary. Then there will be a feeling that there is a person nearby who sees them for who they really are, and then the line will become very thin. Taurus will not seek adventure, they will seek warmth. When they feel it, the decision will form quietly, without loud gestures. He will continue to live his usual life, work, plan, but inside there will already be a different center of gravity. I am sure of one thing. If Taurus betrays, it will not be an impulse. It will be the result of a long silence, the moment when a person suddenly realizes where they have stood for years, no one sees them anymore, and then they will take a step aside, carefully, but without hesitation. Sagittarius. Silence will not last long with this person. Sagittarius will always move faster than most people around them. They will look ahead, always ahead. Their life will not be built around stability. They will be interested in other things, experience, travel, new people. Those born under this sign will try to be honest in relationships for a long time. They will speak directly, sometimes even too directly, but there will be one moment that will gradually change everything. Routine. It will slowly begin to squeeze the Sagittarius, day after day, the same conversations, the same routes, the same evenings, At first they will simply begin to be quieter than before, then there will be longer pauses between words. I will often notice one detail. When Sagittarius starts looking out the window during a conversation, his thoughts will already be far away. At this moment, an old need will awaken in him. A feeling of freedom. He will not deliberately seek betrayal. It will appear where there is movement, a new acquaintance, a trip, a chance encounter. Sagittarius will always respond to people who open up new horizons for him. If he suddenly finds himself next to someone with whom it is easy to talk about the future, the situation will begin to change. At first it will be simple curiosity, then a longer conversation, and at some point Sagittarius will realize that with this person he feels alive again. This is where a dangerous line appears, because Sagittarius does not like to lie. He will simply move to where he feels more space. I am convinced of one thing. When the Sagittarius betrays, he will have long since felt that the old boundaries have become too narrow. He will not destroy everything on purpose. He will simply go where the horizon looks wider, calmly, as if it were a natural step, as if the road ahead had always led there.